Hey, and welcome back once again to What's the Difference? I am Professor Dave. Today we are taking a look at a couple of mid-size crossover SUVs, and they are the 2017 Toyota Highlander and 2017 Honda Pilot. One of my favorite vehicles to drive and test has been the Pilot. This, by the way, was the last vehicle we owned as a family. In fact, Melissa owned that before we bought the Jeep Grand Cherokee, so I have a little bit of experience with it, but not the more recent Toyota Highlander. But I've been doing some number crunching, a lot of it based on your suggestions. So if you have a suggestion on a pair of vehicles you want compared, specifically data points only, leave them in the comment section below. That's where I got this suggestion from all of you in this What's the Difference series. Now, here's some interesting background and stats about the Highlander. First of all, it was produced in 2000. First model year was 2001. It is considered a mid-size crossover SUV, one of the first car-based mid-size crossover SUVs out there. The Honda Pilot, first introduced in 2002, model year 2003, as well as a mid-size crossover SUV. Both of these vehicles are 7 to 8 passenger configurations. I mentioned that because vehicles like the Pathfinder and the Ford Explorer only offer 7 passengers in their seating. And that's because these two vehicles have captain's chairs options in the middle. So based on how you configure it, you'll get more space for passengers with these two vehicles versus the Explorer or Pathfinder, for example. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the engine first of all. Now, the Highlander has 3 engine options, one of which is a hybrid, but we're not doing hybrids in this series. I want to go apples to apples. If I do hybrids, I want to make sure I do a vehicle that has a hybrid and another vehicle that has a hybrid, but since the Pilot does not have a hybrid, we're only going to do the 2 other engines that are non-hybrid related. So we have here a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder. This is a 6-speed automatic transmission, front wheel drive only. That's the option there. This will get you 185 horses, 184 pound-feet of torque. The other option here is a 3.5 liter V6 direct injection. I'll just put DI. That pumps out 295 horses, 263 pound-feet of torque. This one is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And that's a front wheel drive as well as all-wheel drive in the V6. Over here on the Pilot, just 1 engine, but 2 transmission options. So 3.5 liter, probably looks familiar, V6. Now you have a 6-speed automatic transmission or a 9-speed automatic transmission. Pumps out 280 horses, over 262 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, front wheel or all-wheel drive. Okay? Now, best case scenario when it comes to fuel economy. This is how we break this down. 20 city, 27 highway for an average of 23. And to achieve this number, you have to go, and I'll get a different color here, you'd have to go with the 3.5 liter V6 in front wheel drive. That's how you'll achieve these numbers. I'll give you range here in a second. On this side, I don't know if it's any surprise or not, same exact thing. But to get that, you go with the 9-speed automatic transmission. I'll make this stand out for you. In the front wheel drive. That'll get you 20 city, 27 highway. Now, fuel tank, I like to add this in here because I wanted to show you what your range can be. And these are nearly identical. 19.2 gallons, and that'll get you 384 miles, best case scenario, 518 on the highway, city highway. Now, this is kind of the humorous part of it. The tank over here, 19.5. So it's very, very close. And yes, go ahead and check my math. Make sure I get my math right. That's your best case scenario with the Pilot. So basically the same in terms of how far you can drive on a full tank of gas. Now we're starting to see a picture develop once we go down to curb weight. I'll go over here first. Curb weight on the Honda Pilot between 4,000 and 4,300 pounds. Over here, curb weight, a bigger difference, 4,100 to 4,600. Now, towing. Bigger vehicle on this side, how much can you tow? Well, you got two engines. You got a 4-cylinder. The 4-cylinder has a maximum towing capacity of 1,500 pounds, but with that V6, 5,000. Good news, right? Over here, straight up 5,000. So yeah, pull behind your small boats and recreational vehicles, you should be okay. Now, ground clearance, I've gone off-road in the Pilot a couple of times, not in the Highlander, but I could because we've got 8 inches of ground. That's an inch. Just so you guys see it. 8 inches of ground clearance, whereas you have 7.3 inches on the Pilot. And I haven't had any problems with the Pilot going off-road. So let's move down to width, length, and wheelbase. I'm using all three of these numbers here just because I think it helps see things better. And I think you'll be surprised on where we start to see the differences between these two vehicles, because the width, looking at 75.8 inches here, length 192.5, wheelbase 109.8. All right, let that sink in, because we go across the aisle, 78.6, 194.5, and 111 inches even on wheelbase. Anything stand out? It should. Passenger volume. This is another one that stood out to me a lot. Kind of shocked me, actually. I'll keep on using the pink here. Passenger volume. How much room inside the cabin? 142.2, and they say cubic feet, so I'll just put a 3 up there. It's like I'm a professor. That's why I call myself the professor. 152.9 cubic feet. Wow. 10 additional cubic feet of volume for passengers between the Pilot and the Highlander. Isn't that amazing? Now move on to cargo volume. So this should relate to passenger volume and cargo volume, especially since the wheelbase length and width is much smaller here for the Highlander versus the Pilot. So how does it break down? We'll use blue. I'll go over here first. Now behind the back row, since there are 3 rows, 16.5, this is all cubic feet of volume. Fold that down, and then to the second row, you're looking at 46.8, and all rows down, back row and middle row folded down, 83.9, again, cubic feet. Okay, I think you'll be disappointed. I know I was. Here it is in the Highlander, 13.8, 42.3, 83.2. Again, cubic feet of volume of storage. So which one would you want to haul some camping equipment in? A bicycle, large boxes, maybe you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, I don't know, Bed Bath & Beyond, I don't know if we'll have enough time. Which one would you have more storage in? Well, this is interesting. Look at this. I'll color this here. They both have the same maximum of 83.9, 83.2, but then you lose behind the second row seats, and then behind the back row, you get an extra 3 cubic feet of volume behind that for storage. So a lot of us will have our all rows up, go to the grocery store, go to Costco, wherever you want to put stuff in the back. You're going to have almost 3 more cubic feet of volume behind the back row seats for your groceries. Now, Msrp Range, nearly identical. Depends on which trim level you go with. But for the most part, you're looking at between 30 grand and 46 grand. Over here, oh boy, 30K and 47K, okay? So price, not really a factor between these two vehicles, but I'm gonna stand back here and just kind of look at this together. What kind of things stand out to you? Well, the curb weight, Highlander obviously a bigger vehicle. much smaller overall width, length, and wheelbase. Got great ground clearance, talking about the Highlander. Both of them have 7 to 8 passenger configurations. Cargo volume, a big plus on the Honda side. You'll get a lot more power if you go with the Highlander, especially with that V6 at 295 horses and 263 pound-feet of torque. But you're getting basically the same engine, 3.5 liter V6. You do have 2 transmission options in the Pilot, but just an 8-speed automatic in that V6 on the Highlander. Interesting stuff, right? Again, I'm hoping this stuff will help you in your buying process. There's so many factors that go into buying a new car. Obviously, test drive is usually the last piece of it, so you know which ones you want to narrow it down to. But I think these help paint a picture and narrow down the choices as well. So there you go. If you have a suggestion on a couple of vehicles you want me to do a comparison on based on data points like this, let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching and subscribing. I'm Dave, the Professor, and this has been What's the Difference Between the 2017 Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander. See you next time. Hey guys, it's Dave. I just want to say thanks once again for supporting Everyman Driver and watching my videos. Can you do me a small favor? The next time you're in the market for a new or used car and want to schedule a test drive or just want to get a really great price quote from a dealership of your choice in your zip code, click on the link below and fill out a short form. It's car.show/Everyman Driver. Now it's totally free to you and there's no obligation whatsoever to buy or lease anything. It's just a quick and easy way for you to help support my work and keep this channel going. There's also a free phone number, 844-765-0610, and you can talk to a car segment specialist for car shopping advice and direction. That call is also free to you. The link again, car.show/Everyman Driver. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.